Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Texas Chain Saw Massacre, the game video. Before we jump into the big portion of this video, which is reviewing the latest patch and talking about a whole bunch of quality of life issues, I wanted to talk about the brand new Muerto Times for the Texas Chain Saw Massacre. That's talking about the upcoming patch, a new patch, not the one that just came out, but a new patch coming in probably in the next couple weeks or so. For those that don't know what the Muerto Times is, this is Gun Interactive's way of telling us what they're working on and what we can expect in a future patch. And there are some big ones in here. So for what they currently have in testing right now, the Cook XP farm from Locks. I know there's a lot of people that have been taking advantage of that and leveling up as quickly as possible while playing the Cook. Well, it's going to be a little bit harder, but don't worry. His lock-on ability still gives you a ton of XP. The bone scrap limit adjustments, this is one we actually talk about later in the video. Definitely think those bone scrap piles need to be pulled back a little bit, especially the ones that are like chilling next to a valve and you just stab people over and over again while they're trying to shut off the valve. That's a little annoying. Or maybe those that are playing Leland and stun Leatherface at the beginning of the game and you stab him 4 or 5 times before he even turns on his chainsaw. Just the little ones, all right? Bone scraps are fine in general, but maybe the pile should be a little bit more limited. I don't know. I kind of see it. I get it. Let me know your thoughts on that one. I'm sure there's a lot of different opinions on that. And a big one, big one for me. The battery match start state turning to on. The battery will start on, just like the generator. It's really annoying when you're playing at, let's say, the Slaughterhouse, for example, and you're the Leatherface, the Cook, and the Hitchhiker. Well, nobody spawns on the Slaughterhouse side of the map in that case. So you have to go all the way across the map through several locked doors, locking them behind you like a good family member does. And by the time you even get to the battery to turn it on, which takes forever to turn on, everybody's out of the basement. They're already doing the fuse box, they're already doing the valve. It's very annoying. And I just don't get why. Hey, man, we're the family, okay? We're family. We already are prepared to stop these victims. Why would we not have the battery on already, huh? So I'm glad the battery's starting on. And that's actually just one more thing to help with the learning curve of starting this game. There are a lot of new players that don't even know there is a battery to turn on. So I'm glad, just like the generator, this is starting on now. Thank you. I can't wait for this patch just for that reason. Now, as for things that are under investigation, you have the Leatherface stun resistance. Now, I don't know how far they're going to go with this. I hope it's not too far. I don't even know what they mean by stun resistance, like stun resistance to Leland, stun resistance to knives and how quickly he comes out of that stun, or stun resistance to doors, how quickly he comes out of the stun when he gets knocked down by a door. Either way, as long as they don't go too far with it, I get why they're changing it, especially the door slam with Leatherface. But if they go too far, you're going to be nerfing victims too much. So I'm curious how far they're going to go with that. The Slaughterhouse valve escape. Thank God. Thank you. If you've been playing the game for a while now, you know how bad that Slaughterhouse valve exit is. It's very easy to defend, like I said, because the bone scraps are right next to it, so you can just grab it and stab any family member that tries to turn the valve off. It's hard to know the maps, to even know where to go to turn off the valve if you're on Slaughterhouse, if you're a family main, and it's just too easy. It's just too easy, you know? So I'm curious what they're going to adjust when it comes to the Slaughterhouse valve exit, especially because they specifically said the Slaughterhouse valve exit. What are they going to do? Move it out of the basement? Have less valve handles? I don't know. If they're not adjusting all of the valves on every map, and it's specific to Slaughterhouse, that would make me think the location of the valve itself is being changed, but we'll see. Either way, very curious, and I'm glad at least it's being looked at. And then last but not least, for under investigation, various ability balancing. Now, how far you go with this? I personally, as a family main, I personally don't think the victims need a whole lot of nerfing when it comes to their abilities. I think Connie's, I know, yeah, it's extremely powerful, but it's counterable. You gotta keep an eye on her, or you gotta have a Cook lock the right gates. When she uses her ability, it's great. Of course it is, but it's counterable and you can defend it. I think the one that maybe a lot of people are upset with is Leland. And just because of, it's game changing, right? If he comes in, he can save people. He can get an escape that maybe he wouldn't have gotten otherwise. That was his ability. But that's also kind of the point of his ability, is to be able to truck people and save people and make distractions. So if they're going to nerf that, you think you'd have to be the time in which it takes to get that ability back. You can't just get rid of the ability or change that. I would assume it would just be the cooldown would be extended or something along those lines. As for the other victims, I don't think any of them need a nerf. Anna, I know she's insanely powerful, but usually it's because she has a max toughness build combined with some really good perks, not so much the ability itself. So I don't know. You guys give me your thoughts on that and any victims you think need to be nerfed, but we talk about it later in the video on who we think needs to be nerfed, and it's not victims, it's actually Sissy, and we'll talk about that later. And in the last section that needs more info, the persistent VoIP/voice chat issues. This was supposed to be patched in the last update, but it actually didn't work. We still had several times where we go into game and you couldn't hear your teammates. And in a game where chat and communication is key, that is not okay. So yeah, that's being looked back into, and we actually do talk about that in the patch review as well. So we're getting into all that, but I just really want to talk about this because some of the stuff we say later in the video is kind of irrelevant now because they're looking into these things, and that's very exciting. But if you were disappointed in the last patch because it didn't have any quality of life issues, just know they're coming and they're right here in front of us. Here are just some of the changes that we'll see in the next patch, and I'm very excited because I think some of them are very good, and I'm curious to see the details on things like the various ability balancing. We'll see where that goes. But all right, with that out of the way, I'll jump into the actual patch review with me and Nick, as well as some of the quality of life changes we'd want to see that are not mentioned in the Muerto Times right here. That's it. Enjoy the video. Appreciate you. Welcome back to another Texas Chain Saw Massacre, the game video. Today, we're going to be diving into the patch that just came out yesterday at the time recording this, reviewing that some, but also going over a whole bunch of quality life changes that we want to happen. The biggest ones I think we need to see to kind of make this game not so much balance out. I actually think the balance is solid. I think things will stay balanced, but it won't be as toxic, if you will.
Yeah.
If you will. And, you know, it's just the little things. It's the little things, you know?
Right.
Some things are really annoying in the game, but this first patch that came out was devoted to getting rid of cheaters, or at least helping with the easy anti-cheat part of the game, and like server maintenance. But the couple changes that are in here that are legitimate changes, they didn't go well, or I hate them,
or they aren't massively received.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and just what we've been seeing in the TCM community so far. And it's not everybody, but there's a lot of toxicity going on right now, and just kind of want to talk about that and why it's not good, why it doesn't really help at all.
Right.
But the one thing I was very excited for in this patch was voice chat being fixed. It was an issue if you're partied up, you jump in with your team. If you're not actually going into a party, you know, like we could do Discord, but because I'm on PlayStation, you're on Xbox, we would talk in game, and that's how we'd communicate. Well, there were some times where all comms would just break.
Right. That includes even before we started loading into a game, yeah. I was on Xbox and the rest of the party was on PlayStation, and they could hear each other. I could hear half the people.
Yeah.
And the other half couldn't hear me, and I couldn't hear them.
Yeah. That's not the end of the world, because it usually would fix itself in the pregame lobby.
Correct.
It was just the main menu wouldn't work. But the ones where you get into a game and all comms just go away, that's terrible. I mean, this whole game is driven off communication. Yeah. If you can't use comms, the odds of you playing well go down quite a bit.
Right. I mean, before this patch, how many times did that happen in a single 6-hour playthrough?
Well, I don't know.
I think it's about the same as after this patch. I think it was probably 2 or 3 times in like a 6-hour straight playthrough.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's a patch had been out for 1 day. Yeah. But it was 2 times in a 6-hour period.
Yeah. So it's not that bad. It doesn't happen that often, but it does happen still. That bug's not fixed, and my God, I hate it so much. You know, it changes the entire outcome of the game when your party breaks like that. So bummed out that fix didn't actually work, at least not entirely. I didn't have, oh no, we did have the main menu bug still, where you couldn't hear people. So, okay, I guess that's all around just not fixed. Next time, maybe. So bummed out about that one. Now, the big one. This is one where, to me, is the biggest deal. I know we'll talk about the PC crossplay thing. I know all the thoughts on that. But the one that's the biggest deal to me, because it could be permanent. It wasn't a temporary thing. I imagine they're going to change it based on the feedback. But lobbies will now launch with 6 players. Now, the intention of that was to have it where it would be 3 victims, 3 family members, and you go in 3v3. Well, you could also go in 2v4, where it'd be 2 family, 4 victims. Again, that wasn't the intention, but it is happening. And I don't know if they're going to change it to where it will always be 3v3 You'll never have family shorthanded. To me, either way, I don't like it. I think it's really, really bad for the game. And for me, the tech test had issues getting the last person in, the last solo queue in. I feel like we've never, one time since the game came out, a lobby closed because we didn't fill it.
It was a couple times since the game came out, but honestly, and it was a lot of lobby dodging because people's main characters were taken.
Yeah.
But we've seen that less and less as every day that goes on. Less and less people are dodging lobbies because their main character is already taken. So I mean, even in our 1 week review, maybe we did mention making it start or something with 6 people. I don't remember that. If we did say that, completely take that statement back.
Yeah, I'll happily eat my words because I think it just the way the balance works in this game. You go whether it's victim or family, you go in shorthanded and everything gets skewed. Yes, everything changes. I think overall it's been solid where the lobbies fill up. The first day, it was rough because it seemed like you couldn't get a lobby to start because everyone would back out because they didn't get the character they want.
Right.
That's been a lot better just because everyone's starting to get their characters leveled up and figure players out.
Right.
So that's been a lot better. And I really haven't seen that issue. So I don't know why they felt the need to change it, but I think they need to go back on it as quickly as possible.
I agree.
It needs to be 7 people. It needs to be 3v4. That's how the whole game design is. So what they do really need to change is the fucking lobby time. This is going to be, we'll talk about it maybe more in the quality of life changes portion of this video, but this was not in the patch notes. This was a little hidden change. They actually extended the lobby times, and they can go up to like 5 minutes now. 5 minutes on those lobby time countdown. And the goal of that, and Andy confirmed this on the subreddit, the goal of that countdown timer being increased was so that the odds of it filling up to 7 people goes up. Totally understand that. I totally understand it. I also understand the need to change your loadout based on the map you're playing. So you should have some time to do that. But how about 90 seconds? How about 2 minutes? Not 5 minutes, because you know it. I know you know it. If you play the game, there's always that one guy that's not going to ready up. So you sit there for 5 minutes, and then you have the people that don't want to play Leatherface, and you sit in a never-ending loop. I mean, I just saw it on the subreddit today. A 45-minute pre-game lobby because nobody wanted to play Leatherface.
Yeah, granted, they were all very stubborn and all sat there, and no one would pick Leatherface.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be the 45 minutes. Not going to be the norm.
No. But yeah, that's still, there should be some sort of fail-safe for that.
Yeah, I think
somehow.
I think the last person to ready up should auto switch to Leatherface. That's what I would do. Because first, who cares, right? Who cares? Either you could back out and let someone else come do it. Just don't hold the damn thing hostage, all right? So if you get in there first, you ready up, you got the character you want, you ready up, the last person to ready up switches automatically to Leatherface.
Right, or the last person in can only choose Leatherface, and if they don't want to, they can leave, and someone else will come in that will say, oh, okay, I'm playing Leatherface this game no matter what, I don't have a choice.
Yeah. I'm actually really shocked that so many people just hate playing Leatherface. I assume that's because the basement, whether it's being bullied in the basement or just not knowing the basement, or I don't know. I just feel like Leatherface is a lot of fun to play once you figure him out. I don't understand why everyone dodges him so much.
Right. I mean, the way that I usually play one, I never really play the killer side of any of these games.
Right.
But I do enjoy playing the family side in this game. And I thought I would hate Leatherface. Pressure, confusion in the basement. But honestly, just playing him more and more, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's a lot of fun once you learn him.
Yeah.
And I'm just surprised there's so many people that just completely avoid him. But the learning curve's there. I get it.
Yeah. That pregame lobby was at 3 minutes.
Yeah. And now I've seen it as high as 4.5. So.
Right. And, a response to that might be, it gives people time to completely respec their character and
do it again before you search, bro.
Do it before you search.
Yeah, do it before you search.
That's on them. That's on them. And if they don't think they're going to be ready, they can back out, do it at the main menu, respec, do all they need to do, and go.
Yeah, or you could also make it, this isn't ideal, just in case you are actually switching your loadout or something, but if you have a majority ready up, it pulls the timer, even if it's 30 seconds and not 5 seconds like it is if you are ready up. If 5 of the 7 people are readied up in the lobby, it drops the timer down to 30 seconds, something like that. Because, dude, sitting there for 4.5 minutes because one guy is looking at TikTok while waiting for the game to start makes me want to die.
Right. And then there are people, we think they're AFK. We're like, okay, this person sat here for the full 5 minutes. They're not readied up. They're going to be AFK. Yeah. Nope, they're not. They're ready as soon as the game starts. They're just waiting. They want that break, which is fine, but I don't.
Yeah, I think, honestly, because I could totally see how you could zone out on your phone.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you hear the sound of the game starting. Like, oh, okay. Then you go back. I think that's happening all the time. I think that's 9 times out of 10, I feel like that's what's happening. There's people trolling. There's people that literally just do it to be toxic.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably few and far between, but I've gotten it. I've gotten it like 3 times yesterday in the stream because I'm just like, hey, I asked nicely. I'm like, hey, can we please ready up? That'd be great because I don't want to stay for 4.5 minutes. And they're like, nope. And they unready up.
Yep. Yeah, then other people in their party unready.
Yeah, it's like, okay, good for you. Good for you. I love when you hold the lobby hostage, but that's okay. So please, God, change that. At least go back to the 3 minutes, because good Lord.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the big one. PC removed from crossplay temporarily. I'm going to reiterate that to everyone that keeps getting confused that it's temporary. They probably should give us a little bit more of a clear answer on what temporary means. I've seen Matt say on Twitter that in the subreddit X, and on the subreddit that they said weeks, hopefully earlier. The word weeks, they're being smart about it. I know what they're doing because it could be, hey, we said weeks.
52 weeks.
Yeah, right. It was 4 weeks or 5 weeks, but we told you weeks. I think the goal is 2. I think they're looking at 2 to 3 probably.
Yeah, less than a month. Otherwise, they would have said hopefully a couple weeks to a month.
Yeah, right.
But yeah,
I think their goal is like 2 to 3 weeks with it. For PC players that are mad, I get it. If you're a console player trying to play with your PC friends, I totally get why you're frustrated. It sucks, right? So we have a PC friend that we play with all the time. Can't play with them anymore. Then that sucks. But it is temporary, and it seems to be one of the easiest ways for them to get EAC fixed the way they want, to get hackers out of the game as quickly as they possibly can. But if you're a PC player and you can't play with your console friends anymore temporarily, that sucks, and you are now stuck in a much smaller pool that has hackers in it.
Right.
So the odds of you running into them more often now, it goes up quite a bit.
Right. It was a pros and cons list.
Yeah.
It could have taken longer, as far as we know. It could have taken longer for them to keep crossplay enabled and work on getting this anti-cheat system up and running correctly, I guess. It could have taken, months and months. So now everyone's suffering for months and months when really it'll be a smaller group of people suffering a lot.
Yeah.
For a shorter amount of time. That's still obviously no situation's ideal.
Yeah, I totally get why people are frustrated.
Yes.
If you bought the game because it had crossplay, I totally get why you may want a refund. But again, it's temporary. Like, it's gonna be fixed. You're gonna be back to that. You're playing with your friends soon.
Right.
But it's not ideal, bro. I know it's not ideal.
Right. And there is nothing they can do to go back in time and implement it before the game came out. They can't do it. I mean, yes, obviously you can say, man, I really wish this was fixed before the game came out. But sitting here yelling and saying, you need to get crossplay back in because you guys should have done it. But
yeah, where they fucked up, and I will say this is, to me, is a pretty big fuck up. I don't know the details of it and how it happened, but the Windows version of the game didn't have EAC at launch. And that is to me, it's like such a no-brainer, big no-no, but I have no idea what could have led to that issue developmentally. Like, I don't know. There could be a whole explanation on why the Windows version of the game didn't have EAC at launch. But a lot of the hackers, I'm sure, came as a result of that. Not all of them, not all. There's people that can get around EAC pretty easily. And there's always going to be hackers. There's always going to be hackers. What they need to do is just get the number down as low as they possibly can. And that's the goal of these, the anti-cheat improvements. That's the goal of turning off crossplay for PC temporarily. If it does help mentally at all for PC players or console players that want to play with PC players, if it helps at all, just to kind of get you through, we didn't even know there was going to be crossplay until the tech test.
Right.
Like, so I think for me, I'm just glad it's there. I'm just glad we're going to have it and it's going to be working properly, because we thought there was a chance it wouldn't even be there at launch. We thought we'd have to wait for it in a future update. similar to like dedicated servers in F-13. We thought it might be, something like not an engine upgrade, but something that would take a while to implement. We got it at launch. Shit hit the fan a little bit with hackers. And so they're just pulling it back a little bit temporarily. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, I'm glad it's just going to be there.
I mean, there are AAA games. Call of Duty will sometimes remove a map temporarily to rework it if there is an issue, or a gun.
Yeah.
That happens with the biggest titles in the world.
Yeah. I'm really just trying to be a glass half full kind of guy with this, because there's so much toxicity in the subreddit right now and just absolutely shitting on Gun and Sumo. And I think that I understand frustrations, and I think feedback is extremely important, but some of the straight up like threats and bullying that's happening is so disappointing. And I think Gun in the subreddit, I think they're guilty of some pretty bad responses in there. I think we've seen some, I don't know what the word, I just think, I don't want to say unprofessional, but just too personal. There's been a little bit too personal responses in there sometimes. And I understand. And I think that's why most subreddits for games don't have developers as mods, so that you're not, as a comm dev, you're not put in a position where you have to be personal. Because, dude, it doesn't matter who you are. You sit there and you're watching somebody talk shit about something you've worked years on. And then it gets personal to you as well, and that you're incompetent and things like that. It's so hard not to just fucking shit on that guy that's saying that. And I know I can totally feel what they're going through. I mean, as a content creator, how many comments do you get shitting on your content you worked your ass off on? So I totally get why they're doing it, but it's like, goddamn, avoid it at all costs. Avoid it at all costs, because it's just going to make this scenario worse. And it has. I mean, we've seen it. We saw the comments, in response to people being douchebags on the subreddit that deserve to be shit on. They just got shit on by the wrong person. And when that happened, they pile on to Gun, and Gun gets piled on. And yeah, it's just not a good look. It's a lose-lose.
Right. I mean, it's the same people, that are huge douchebags, and then somebody says something to them back, and they go, whoa to everybody. Yeah.
Wow.
Why are you saying stuff like that to me? I was just giving you feedback.
I was just calling you an incompetent piece of shit.
Whoa. You're gonna ban me for breaking one of the rules on the subreddit? Whoa.
Yeah. Like, listen, those people suck. They do. They don't know how to give feedback properly. But God, man, when the second you respond to them in a bad way, like with any personal reaction, you're just gonna get piled on by the rest of them. So that's been tough to watch. Yeah. But I mean, that's the patch. The patch. Hey, tell you what, console side of things, crossplay being only Xbox and PlayStation has been a delight. It has been a fucking delight. No hackers. Literally haven't seen any hackers at all. And things just seem to naturally balance out when it's console versus console. I don't want to. PC players the debate on like mouse and keyboard and all that has been around, especially first-person shooter games. To me, I think mouse and keyboard is a tremendous advantage in a game like this, where if you can spin really fast, you can avoid hits. It's just like Dead by Daylight. A Dead by Daylight PC player, I don't care what anybody. You could argue all you want about this. Dead by Daylight players, a Dead by Daylight PC player, his max his capabilities, they go up. They're so much higher. Yeah. They're so much higher. When you're a P.C. player, like you could just do so much more. Yeah, man, you just can't do that shit on console. Not like that. So it feels more balanced when I'm going against somebody using a controller. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, as far as this patch goes, there's also they said they've fixed various crashes and freezes. They're still about as random as they were before the patch.
Yeah, I haven't had any crashes.
I have.
Oh yeah, you did. That's right.
I've had, again, it was probably about 3 or 4 times in a 6-hour period my Xbox version would crash. Now it's about 2 times in a 6-hour period it's crashing. So not fixed. And who knows, that could be something with my Xbox.
There's still the whole game, like the game will just freeze up randomly, the server will crash, and you're sitting there still talking somehow, and then 2 minutes later, you'll eventually get kicked out of the game.
Yeah, we can sit there and talk and walk around. You can't interact with anything, and the game is over, but we can still talk to each other. But game's over.
That's a weird one. I don't know what the hell is doing that. It's a weird one. So
that is still as prevalent as it was before the patch as well.
Yeah, that happened a few times for sure. So yeah, I'm excited to see more patches. I think this one the most disappointing part of this patch is that it took 2.5 weeks to get out, and it really didn't do that much. At least like from the outside looking in, like when you're just playing the game, it feels like you're playing the exact same thing with no changes, right?
Yeah.
It's just the crossplay's off. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And it was a long ass fucking timer. So yeah, I understand they're a small team, and you can only do the game just fucking came out.
I was just gonna say 3 weeks. Game's been out 3 weeks. We've gotten one patch. Honestly, pretty good.
Yeah, usually you'll see the first patch land in like the first week,
right?
But I get it because I said this before. I think Sumo Nottingham, who's primarily known for like single player games, got caught a little off guard when it came to hackers and cheating in a game like this. So they probably were kind of scrambling for the first couple weeks there to make sure they put in everything they possibly can to avoid that. And hopefully that keeps happening. Hopefully it goes better.
Yeah.
Since I didn't play any PC players, I have no idea if there's actually less hackers now. I'm not sure.
Not going to try.
Right. Not a plan. I do like I like the idea. I crossplay. PC should be able to play with console. Totally down for that. I would like the option to toggle who I want to play with.
Right.
Like if I want to turn off Xbox and turn off PC, that'd be nice.
Right. Also, sort of quality of life as well. Having a crossplay friends list instead of an invite code.
Yeah.
It takes forever. And we sort of talked about that in our 1 week review.
Yeah.
This game, you're supposed to meet people on the game and play with them again. If they're on a different console, you can't add them. You got to hope that their name is the same as their Discord name and you remember exactly how it's spelled to get into contact with them.
Yeah.
So having a crossplay friends list definitely would be a nice addition there instead of the generating codes or both.
Yeah, hopefully that happens.
Yeah.
I don't know how hard it'll be to implement after the fact, though. I don't know. But yeah, let's go into the quality of life changes. Things that we think should change, hopefully do change, as we got past that first patch that's just mainly meant to like fix servers and easy anti-cheat. Quality of life changes will come in the future. Let's talk about the most important ones. I gotta get this one off my chest right away. The fucking grandpa cutscene is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm convinced the grandpa cutscene is hiding something happening in the background when that transition happens from grandpa being asleep to awake and spotting victims. I'm convinced something's happening that like they don't want you to see. Like something is transitioning on the map or characters are changing or something's happening. So that's why the cutscene's there and it's covering up something. And that's why the reason I hate it so goddamn much is because when you're playing Leatherface and you're revving the saw, it'll keep revving when a grandpa cutscene pops up and it will cost you kills so goddamn much all the freaking time. Then you overheat your saw. And then now, even if you were not going to kill that person, you're not even going to see them anymore because you're gone. They're out of the chain. You're standing in a corner now with your chainsaw overheated. And by the time you get your chainsaw back on, they're gone.
Yep.
And God, it makes me so mad sometimes, dude. But on the victim side too, I'm sure you've probably gotten killed because the grandpa cutscene interrupted you going through a crawl space or something. You know?
Yeah, I wonder if it's something to do with like the doors now being able to be unlocked for the family members.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
What I don't know what else it really could be.
Yeah, just something.
Yeah, the actual like grandpa able to use his ability.
Yeah, the sonar ability. Yeah.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's there for a reason because there's no way they're not thinking the same thing. Like, right. God damn, that cutscene is so annoying. And you don't need it. Like, nothing else in the game does that.
No, when the game starts, other than the grandpa cutscene, you go. Yeah. The only time the gameplay stops is during a execution animation.
Yeah, you don't even, like, it's I don't know why it'd be so desperate that you need to know. You need the alert that grandpa's awake.
Like, the game stops for victims, for family, everyone. Grandpa is awake. Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Meanwhile,
he's our grandpa.
Meanwhile, you don't even get a fucking alert for a window being jumped through on the family house.
Or the battery turned
off.
Or the
battery. Yeah, it's like those things seem pretty goddamn important. I don't go keep it the way it is. I don't care. I like it's a skill thing. You got to be listening. You know, although that fucking bug where it doesn't make any sound sometimes, hate that. But yeah, like you get no alerts on things that seem important, but then the grandpa needs to be seen.
Have you ever played the game? You remember the game Don't Wake Daddy? The board game?
Yes.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like your first 5 minutes of the game, it's not Escape Leatherface. It's Don't Wake Grandpa or Do Wake Grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just makes me want to die. For God's sake.
But also, I don't like when Grandpa's awake before I can even interact as a family member.
Yeah, before I even get out of the cutscene, Grandpa being awake. And let's skip to that point right now. The early game needs to be slowed down somehow. And as for a solution to it, not sure. Because we actually had I thought it was amazing at the time. It was super cool to watch it happen. But we were playing at Family House, and we had a team that the first escape happened within 60 seconds. 66 seconds, someone escaped through the driveway. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm like we're the best family of all time. But I do think we're well above average because of the time we put in and how good our comms are. So for a team to do that as quickly as they did was so wild. It's definitely counterable. Like, we could have stopped the actual escape from happening.
Yeah.
As for the lead up to the escape, because they got a door open in less than 30 seconds. All 4 of them went through the same door. All 4 of them jumped out the front window, and one went to the generator with the maxed out strength. So they shut the generator off very fast, and then the other 3 ran to the driveway, and they were gone in 66 seconds. I was like, God. I was like, holy shit, that was so cool and organized, and they earned it. Like, they had to do that organized.
Yeah, the first one was a Sonny. He was out in 66 seconds from the game starting, from the point where we could pick up our controller and move.
Yeah.
It was 66 seconds.
Yeah.
For the first one out. And then the other 2 sort of hung around to kind of to help out the victim that turned the gen off, make sure she could get out. She didn't.
We got one. We got one.
but yeah. And yeah, like you said, that is definitely counterable. If we would have sort of realized what was happening.
Yeah.
We did, but and you would have, as Leatherface ran off to the generator, probably could have stopped him.
Yeah, I think as a victim main, I know some of you guys might be saying like skill issue, just you could counter it. And it is, I totally agree. Like we could have stopped that from happening.
Yeah.
My point is that it's even possible to do what they did. Like it needs to just be a little bit slower. To have 4 victims jump out the window at the exact same time, and to be like, if I hadn't have seen them go out of the door, because I ran from the basement storage over to Leatherface's lair. I did nothing else. I didn't do anything else. I'll show you the fucking clip. I didn't do anything else. I went from basement storage, ran around Leatherface's lair. By the time I got there and saw it, door opened, all 3 ran out. Leland trucked me. All 4 go out to the window. They run down the escape. Like that. Just slow it down a little bit. I don't know. Do you make it longer to unlock the door? Do you make it where unlocked tools are harder to find or harder to collect, like harder to grab? The one big thing that will help, if you want to keep victims running that fast, I'm fine with that, I guess. I still would prefer it slow down, but I can get through it if the battery starts on.
Yeah. Because especially at the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, if you actually have a team that did what they did to us in Family House, and they all grab unlock tools, they go through the holding pen door, they go through the sliding door, they go through the white door. If they did that as a team, take note of this, victim mains with your squads. If they did that as a team, they would be out there before you could ever. If you were playing as Johnny and Cook, which is a bad combo, they would get out that door before you ever could even get there in time to turn it on.
Not Johnny.
Who is it?
Johnny spawns by the red door of the slaughterhouse. It's Cook and Hitchhiker. Hitchhiker's at the generator. At the gen,
yeah. So Cook, Hitchhiker. So if you played the OG3, you literally cannot get over there in time to turn the battery on.
No. If they go all on the one side of the slaughterhouse with the sliding door, by the time Cook got in the red door and to that other door, battery would be, the gate would be.
And then the amount of time it takes for some stupid reason to take the black and red cable of a fucking battery and put them on the goddamn, like it takes like 20 seconds to turn the fucking thing on. Like, why does it take so long to turn the battery on? So even if you do get over there in time, you can't turn the fucking thing on in time if they're over there.
Maybe the family is colorblind and they can't tell because they sit there and they just go,
Yeah, especially the cooldown. The cooldown kills me too, because it's like, dude, what is cooling down? You just got to put the cable back on the fucking battery. Like, I don't understand.
Hey, that Texas sun, those prongs are probably really hot.
I don't know why. I don't like the cooldown in the battery because it already takes too goddamn long to turn on. I understand the cooldown in the gen. It's probably a little too long, but I understand like the Family House, right? Like you got it off and you got to run a mile to get there.
When it's not out front.
Right. Well, yeah.
If it's out front, I mean, it's
either way, it's still a good run.
Well, yeah,
it's still a good run. So if the cooldown was like not there, you could just get the gen back on before they get down to the end of the road. I understand some cooldown, but I think it's a little bit long. The battery one, I don't get it at all because it takes too long to turn it on to begin with. So if you're there as a family member, you're trying to do your part. You did your patrol. You still can't turn the damn thing on.
Well, and also to that point, yeah, like the amount of time it takes to hit at the family house, say the gen is out by the barn, to shut it off and then run all the way down the driveway, you have to be almost picture perfect to escape before they can get that gen back on. Right. But the battery is so close to the gate, there's nothing you can do. If there's 3 people over there and there's a Leland,
yeah, you're in trouble. Yeah, so I just think the one thing that could really slow it down to at least give you the opportunity to get over there and try to counter it is just the battery starts on, and then it'll slow it down a little bit.
Right. Like we said before, I'm the hitchhiker. I start at the gen. I book it all the way over to the battery.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're already there. Yeah. I can't even get a trap down. So and then I still have to turn the battery on.
Yeah, there are exactly. There are certain characters like the hitchhiker where the whole point of him is to be able to set his traps up and be ready and get ready to defend. If you have a team that's rushing, you still have to go turn the battery on. How are you going to do it in time and set your trap? You can't. So like if the battery starts on and the hitchhiker can just go put his traps where he wants to put them, and I'd be a lot more comfortable with the scenario is all.
Yeah.
By the way, all the victim mains out there that are going to comment, you guys are just family mains and you want to nerf victims. I have several points coming up that I'm going to bring up about family members. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I swear I will shit on them too.
Yeah.
All right. But that's one of the big ones. You just got to slow that game down. And I don't know how you do it to make it still balanced and just not nerf the shit out of victims, because that's not what I want. Just have the battery start on. I'll feel at least a little bit better about it.
Right.
That's all. Okay. Now let's talk about one more thing that, as a family man, you guys are going to think I'm going to shit on: the door slam mechanic. Okay. Remove it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually totally okay with it. I think the door slam mechanic is extremely counterable because you just need a good Leatherface. You just need a Leatherface nose. And if you have another, like what I've been good at lately, kinda, if they're not super good at victim, I've been good at reversing the door slam and door slamming them back. And then I can get my chainsaw revved up before they can even stand up, and I can kill them a lot of the times. Not always. Some people are really good at it, but it's counterable. And then you destroy the door and you're done. You don't have to worry about it ever again. Just destroy the door.
Yeah.
The only part I think about it needs a change is being able to stun a family member when they're already stunned.
Yep.
That's the only one that drives me nuts. Taekwondo is an insane perk as it is. If you want to keep it at 16 seconds, whatever, I don't really care about that. It's when Leland trucks you in a doorway. He then is going to stab you. And then before you even get out of the stab, you're going to get hit by a door. And then you're going to stand up. And you're shaking it off because he's got Taekwondo door on. And he starts to move in slow motion. I hate that. The slow motion walk after the door slam. Before you even get out of there, you're going to hit by the door again. And that can go on for a while. And by the time you get out of that sin, he's got another bone scrap. He's going to hit you again. And then, like, so some people can really take advantage of it. I just don't like being stunned when I'm already stunned.
Yeah, no, I was the hitchhiker. I was upstairs of the family house, and yeah, I got hit by a door. And as I was getting up, I wasn't even fully all the way up. Standing up, I got hit down again.
Yeah, one thing I learned yesterday, because no one's done it to me before, is that when you're knocked down in your face as a family member, you can get stabbed in the back while you're laying on the ground.
Yeah.
Learn about that. Didn't even realize that was a thing. I'm like, oh my God, you're serious? You can stab me in the back while I'm laying on the ground?
Yeah.
So it's just so much. It's when you can stun. I don't really care about the door mechanic. Keep it. I think it's fine. But it's the goddamn 20 stuns in a row without being able to move.
Right. It should be a stun. It should be not a one-time only thing, but a thing you do to get away. You shouldn't just stand by the door, then wait for them to even still be in the stun animation before you can stun them again.
Yeah.
You should be able to hit it and run away.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you go through a little crawl space and now you're at the other door and they come around, you can get them again. Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be I shouldn't be stuck for 2 minutes before another family member comes up to help me that I can even get away.
Yeah. The one thing, if I was nitpicking it, I don't like the way you can like pull the door towards you as a family or a victim and still knock down a family member who, like, you run at the family member, pull the door towards you, and you knock him down towards. I'm like, All right. If you're going through and you're pushing the door, like you're running through the door, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. But, in general, don't mind the actual mechanic itself. I just don't like when I'm being stuck for 20 minutes inside of it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let me do some family bitching before I go back onto my victim bitching. Okay. One thing I really don't like is the body blocking to counter the fuse. I think that is such a pussy tactic, and I really think it's not meant to be in the game design. Maybe they can confirm otherwise, that body blocking is okay. I think it's an exploit. I don't like it. To me, if you're a victim and you went up and did the fuse box and you turned it on, that's a family's fault. They didn't protect it. They didn't trap it. They didn't do whatever. They didn't keep their eyes on it. They didn't patrol well. They fucked up. You have the right to run back down there. You still got time as family to knock him down. I mean, you got like Annas and shit. They're going to be hard to kill. But they earned it then. They should probably make some minor changes to the fuse box. But at that point, they fucking earned it. Yep. Okay? The fact that you can just stand there as Leatherface, look out the exit, and not attack, don't do anything, and they can't get through the door, I think is ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, that's...
Of course, it's counterable with Bone Scraps and Leland. But still...
Right. Usually... I think what it's meant to be, the fuse is sort of a last resort kind of thing. I don't think it's meant for all 4 victims to get out.
Well, goddamn, they do.
So a lot of the times I feel the fuse is a late game exit where there's only 2 or 1 victims left.
Yeah.
So you can't say, oh, just get something else done because you might be the only one left.
Yeah.
And now, you do all the work for the fuse. They're right behind you, chasing you down, and you can see the last hallway you need, and Leatherface is just standing there, and there is nothing you can do. Obviously, they're called victims for a reason.
Yeah,
they're not survivors. You're meant to die.
To me, this is where, when we talk about the valve in a little bit, and I bitch about that, to me, it's like, I did the right thing. I did the work that I was supposed to do, and I earned an escape. And the reason I'm not getting it is because you can just stand there and not play the game. Like, I don't like that. I think if you did the fuse box, you opened the fucking thing up, you put the fuse in, you did the mini game, you ran down there, and
on your way down.
Yeah, nobody kills you. You earned it. You earned the damn escape. Why can I just stand there as Leatherface and block it? And I understand. I've had some debates with this with Sir Jonathan Ivey, and he's like, well, to him, like he says, it feels real. It's realistic. If Leatherface standing there, you're not going to run by him. If he stands there the way he does in the game to body block, you bet your sweet ass I'm running by him. He's not doing anything. He's just fucking standing there. He didn't swing his chainsaw. He didn't grab me. So, I mean, no, you can't. I don't like that. It's the same thing. Like, I never liked body blocking the phone box, the fuse box in F-13.
Yeah.
I never liked that either because, you could technically do that in real life and sacrifice yourself, but I'm going to hit you one time and then you're going to move. I'm going to hit you with my axe one time and you're done. So I don't know. I just don't like it. I just think it's a real cheap way to counter a very fair escape most of the time. The escape itself, I'll change my path here. The fuse box itself, I don't mind it. The one thing I wish it would change to make it a little bit more balanced is that you can't turn it on over and over again. I think the family should be able to remove the fuse and you have to play the mini game again. Yeah. I think like they remove the fuse and then it can respawn in the exact same spot on the map. I don't even care about that. I think you as a victim should have to get another fuse and put it in. I think the family should have the right. They have to go out of their way and remove the fuse from it, and they have to play the mini game again. Because, dude, it's not that it's an easy escape because it can be patrolled easily, but it's an escape that leads to people, the whole team getting out in the blink of an eye. So if I do manage to stop them once, I'd like to be able to pull the fuse out and make them earn it again. That's all. Because you could literally you can open the door 20 times in a row, no cooldown.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. I can't even turn the fucking battery back on without there being a cooldown, but you can open the fuse box 30 times in a row if you want.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing about it I would change. Okay. Another family thing I don't like that I think should change. And this is coming from a Leatherface main. I think Leatherface's knockdown is a little broken. When he does a full sprint on you, most people playing Leatherface have figured it out. If you run the level 2 stalling, where you have 20% less chance of stalling your chainsaw, you can get 9 times out of 10, you'll get a sprint hit and you won't stall your chainsaw. and then you can get a hit basically instantly afterwards that most of the time leads to a kill.
Yeah, as long as you don't have max toughness or Anna's ability.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
Sunny's goodbye.
Yeah. It's a free kill 9 times out of 10. But here's what I'll say about it. I'm all for it not stalling. I think you as Leatherface, you still have to rev it the right way. You still earn the hit. It's okay if the chainsaw doesn't stall, but you should not be to swing instantly afterwards. I think it should still knock the victim down, because that way, if I knock a victim down as Leatherface and I have a teammate there, done and done. Yeah. That we work together, we earn the fucking kill. Leatherface being able to come out of him doing the sprint hit and then swinging instantly afterwards and getting a second hit for free, I think that should be changed. There should be a little bit more time before Leatherface can swing again. That way it doesn't break everything.
Yeah, I think I agree too. Because, yeah, you feel bad sometimes. You're like, counterable. How do you counter it? Play Anna.
Yeah, exactly.
Use your ability.
Yeah, don't get hit. Well,
yeah, don't get skill issue.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I guess. But if that's the case, then you should be allowing other family members to get one hit kills, and you don't want that, do you?
Right.
So
no, as we said before, we're pretty good family. We're up there in levels.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going against victims with higher levels than us. Victims that 99 out of 100 times will escape in 3 minutes with a valve on Slaughterhouse.
Sure.
But when you can kill them in the first minute of the game, minute and a half of the game, a level 85, who knows how to play this game, what can they do to counter?
Yeah.
I definitely think that should be changed as well.
Yeah, it's the same thing as what we're saying. You need to slow down that early game. It's the same thing with Leatherface. If you can kill somebody so goddamn fast. I'm blown away there's a trophy for killing somebody in less than 30 seconds, because I get it. One, that's hard to do initially. Once you learn and you get your ability up to do it, pretty easy. And I just don't think that's something that should be happening.
No.
That's all. No. That's all. So yeah, just like a little bit more time after you knock somebody down before you can swing again. Let them at least, if there's no other family members there, they should at least get another chance to get up on their feet and run away.
Right.
But if I hit them again, destroying them. That's all.
Yes.
Okay. Now I can go back to bitching about stuff. Let's go to the valve. The valve on Slaughterhouse, I think, it's really the valve in general is a little busted, but you'll notice it in general. Slaughterhouse is the worst. It's because it's in the basement, and the bone scrap piles always spawn 6 feet away from the valve.
Yeah. I was running down because our cook marked someone, and I could see them walking up to the valve location. I go, oh shit. I run down there as hitchhiker. I watch him put the valve on and spam it and get it open right away. Right.
Yep.
He runs to the bone scrap pile. I'm like, I know what he's going to do, but I gotta try.
Right.
I walk up to the valve. I start to turn it. I get hit with a bone scrap. As soon as I'm out of it, another bone scrap. He runs over. I hear him grab 2 more. By the time I'm out of that stun, shouldered. 2 more bone scraps, valves open.
Yeah, it's just... I think the bone scrap piles in general, this is one of my notes, I think the bone scrap piles in general actually need to have a less quantity again. They changed it from the tech test to where bone scrap piles are limited. They have less available bone scraps. But it's like 7? It's 6 or 7 in a piles. I don't know if it's the same for every pile. Dude, why would you ever need that many bone scraps? Unless you're doing that. You're just stabbing them over and over and over and over and over again.
So our last game in our stream last night, as of recording this, we were on the gas station, and the bone scrap pile closest to the house basement staircase, I grabbed a total of 4. I stabbed him 4 times with bones from that pile.
Yeah. That's one pile.
Right. Just me. When I died, I watched another player grab 2 more, and another player grab 2 more.
Yeah, so
that's 8.
Yeah. I've only seen, I don't know about you, and I use the shit out of bone scraps because I am a Leland main. I do what everyone else is doing, as you should. That's your job. Once I've seen a bone scrap pile run out.
I never have.
So it's like, dude, they're pretty insane. They're pretty insane. But the reason it's so bad is that the valve against any good team, it takes 2 people to turn it off, because you need somebody to defend one person that's shutting it off. You need to stop them from getting hit with the bone scrap.
Yep.
And that is just so goddamn stupid for a map that has the valve in the basement. So you're forcing 2 people to go out of their way, leave all of the exit options that are on the fucking map. You got to have them go down to the basement just to counter a single escape that I earned by knowing that I earned the stoppage as a family, because I know the map and I learned the map and I learned the valve locations. I heard it. I went out of my way. I left it. I got down there in time. I'm now shutting it off. Okay, you want to stab me once, fine. But having a bone scrap pile 2 feet away is just nonsense to me.
Right. And then also, as soon as it gets stopped, there's no penalty other than the door not opening when the family member stops the valve.
Yeah.
You can walk right up and pick up right where you left off. You can get it open in 3 seconds, and it takes 12 for the family member to get it off.
I think the biggest adjustment, I mean, the bone scrap pile should not spawn that close. No. I'm okay with getting stabbed in general. I think you're earning that as a victim. But I don't like when you could just do it in a loop because the bone scrap pile is 6 inches away. I think so adjust where the bone scrap piles spawn in terms of the valve location, so that they actually have to go out of their way to get them,
or give them a way lesser quantity next to for the piles that are right next to the valve location.
But even then, if it's still like, it should be at least 5, right? Like 4 or 5.
1.
1, you get 1. But even then, like, that's still enough to completely own the valve, and the thing is going to open. So yeah, I would just move them further away so they actually have to run out of their way to do it. I also think that, so the victim side of turning on the valve, they could do it in 2 seconds. They could rapid fire square. Yes, they make noise in the spotlights. Congratulations. I don't give a shit. Still, you could turn it on instantly and be out of there before anyone even notices you. But then as family, you go down there and it takes you, 15 seconds? Maybe, 15 seconds-ish to turn that damn thing off. And you're sitting there just slowly turning it. And then even if you do get it off, you can get stabbed then, and they could turn it back on before you get out of this fucking stun.
Right.
That is such a broken, the whole valve thing is just broken. I don't like it.
It picks up right where it lets off for victims. Like, I saw this on Reddit. These places are run down. These pipes are old. It should slowly lose pressure after it's been shut off. Not very fast, but it should slowly lose pressure so it's not picking up exactly where it's been left off. Because like you said, now you have to have 2 people, especially on the slaughterhouse, in the basement camping the valve. But guess what? Now the other 2 people, okay, so your third family member is watching the generator. Well, guess what? 2 people are already in the slaughterhouse. They're going. And since it was so early game, battery isn't on because I couldn't get over there in time.
Yeah, because you can grab a valve handle and run it back down, jump down a well and do it 2 seconds.
Yeah. So now guess what? Now they're finally, okay, I think the valve's good. I haven't seen anyone in a couple minutes. Bum, 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 bum. They're gone. All out the battery.
It's just, you should be able to turn it off at least a little bit faster as family, and then just move the bone scrap piles a little bit further away.
Yeah.
I'm okay with getting stabbed once, twice, whatever it takes. But like, to me, it's not even like earning it at that point. Like, cause you're just fucking sitting there pressing square R2. That's all it is. It's just, it drives me nuts.
Yeah. You see a full squad of players above level 30 on Slaughterhouse. Just stay at the valve.
Yeah, just stand there.
Just stay at the valve. Somehow get a 4th family member on your team so they can watch the battery and get it on. Because there's not really much you can do to counter all of your exits on that map.
Yeah, and the valve is the only map it's really a bitch on. It can sometimes be annoying on gas station, but not for the same reason. It's just a hell of a distraction. A gas station, the only thing that drives me nuts, and it's just a map design thing. The fuse box, you open if you do the fuse box on gas station, God, it is so easy to make sure you get there. Once the fuse box is done, good luck stopping somebody at gas station. You basically have to just really watch it and patrol it closely, which is fine. You have to earn that as family, and I think that's how it should be.
Right.
The only thing I don't like is that you can just turn it, if it's outside, the fuse box is outside, you can just turn it on and then go down the well that's 5 feet away.
You take one right?
I mean, yeah. If you go down the well, it's literally like it's in your sight. You look to your right and it's in your sight. You can see the door. It's like, okay, well, that's probably a little That's probably a little ridiculous, but I don't know what are you gonna do? Get rid of the well? Like, all right, no, I don't know what you do differently. You can't really change that. It's just a bit of a bitch. Yeah. That's all. Just gotta bite the bullet. Well, that's one thing that I can get past that, because at least they're still earning the fuse box. They still did it. And yeah, I think that short little tiny run you could do by using the well, sure, that's kind of annoying, but the balance completely changes once you go to Family House. Now family's in good shape, and it completely changed once you go to Slaughterhouse. Now victims are in good shape. I'm okay. I really am okay with that. I just don't like when it's broken, when I'm doing the right thing and I can't counter something when I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's the valve at Slaughterhouse. That's the only one that I'm like, dude, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, bro.
and anyone can comment skill issue if you want, but yesterday we were doing actually pretty well at the Slaughterhouse. We had a couple clean sweeps at the Slaughterhouse, which had been tough because the map is built for victims in that case. But
people and victims that were going for the valve and trying to do the stab tech.
And we stopped them. Yeah. So we're not saying it's impossible to stop, but it's odds are against you.
I think the odds of you solo queuing and stopping a valve on that map are slim to none.
Yep.
I really do, because it takes a tremendous amount of teamwork to stop that shit. Yeah. That's the only one that really makes me mad, because I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, you didn't do anything. You went up for 2 seconds, grabbed a valve, came back down, and then you could just sit here with your bone scrap pile 2 feet away from you. Yep. That one drives me nuts. But let me tell you something else that drives me nuts on the side of victims. Sissy. Okay, out of all of the characters in this game, that I don't think anyone really needs to be nerfed. Everyone bitches about Leland. I see Leland all the time. I don't think Leland needs to be nerfed. His ability doesn't come back that fast. Yeah, he will piss you off sometimes, and you think you're gonna get a kill, and here comes Leland, and he saves the day. But he earned it. He earned that shit. He's using his ability the way he needs to use it, and that's fine. So I'm totally fine with his ability. The only one that I think is absolutely fucking broken is Sissy. And it's when the poison's on her blade, and you have that all set up where she's hitting you with her knife, you can't run away anymore. Yeah. You literally can't fucking run. So if you have a Sissy with any decent endurance, you're sorry, GG, it's over. Don't let her hit you at all, or you're dead.
Yeah.
And that is insane. I think she's the only character that really needs to get nerfed, and it's just that poison blade effect. It's the only one that's really insane.
Yeah.
The only one that can get away from it, honestly, is Leland. Because Leland can truck her and then finally get away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're any other victim, maybe Anna, because you can go a little bit longer, maybe get to a crawl space or get to an obstacle, you're going to die. You're going to be killed if you run into Sissy. And that it's just stupid. Because it's not even a skill thing. You can't run away anymore. You can't run away anymore. So you just can't you get to pray you don't get hit the first time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pain. Hate it. Don't like her. Love playing as her for now.
No, everyone else, yeah, I think is pretty balanced.
Yeah. I think the only other victim on the victim side of things, the only one I think might need a little bit of adjustment is Anna. Maybe not, because you're still, the ability is limited, but sometimes, man, she just eats a little bit too much. And it's actually not even so much Anna, it's the things you could combine her with to make her ridiculous. Yes. And so the perks in general, this is another quality of life thing I wanted to mention, was some perks are kind of broken. And I don't want to dive too far into them. I think some of the perks are absolute dog shit. No one's ever going to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's both sides of the spectrum here. There's ones that are completely stupid and garbage that no one's ever going to touch. But then there's perks like what doesn't kill you. And what doesn't kill you is not a charge-based perk, so you can use as many times as you want. And at the max level, at level 3 on it, after you take damage, once you get away, as long as you don't take damage again for 15 seconds, you fully fucking heal. You get 100% of that damage back. So you're Anna, all right? You just got knocked down by Leatherface, but you were able to get away before he got the second big hit on you. Now you're getting all that health back. And then so he does catch up to you. You use your ability. Now you could go on for 20 minutes. You combine this with other toughness perks. How are you going to kill her? It's insane.
Right. There's another perk that as you level it up, it goes from 40% 1 charge to 60% 2 charge, and then 80% 3 charges.
Yeah, and I forgot what that perk's called, but what it is it's the damage. So you take when a family member damages you, when they hit you, it does 80% less damage three times. Yeah.
40% once. Level 2 is 60% 2.
Yeah, then 80% 3 at level 3.
That I don't think is fair.
Yeah.
Like I think it should either have the damage reduction with 1 charge or the same amount of charges, or the same amount of damage with multiple charges.
Yeah. So let's say you're Ana. Like, this is literally what you could do. Leatherface is chasing you. As long as it's just Leatherface, you're going to be fine. All right, Leatherface hits you with a big hit. All right, 80% less damage. Okay, you start running again. He gets another big hit on you. 80% less damage. You're good. Then he gets another hit on you. 80% less damage. You're good. All right, now he can finally get a big hit on you that's going to stop you and kill you. You use your ability. It doesn't do shit to you.
And then you get away 15 seconds later. You get all the health back.
Yeah, like dude. You can really make some disgusting builds in this game. And so that's the only time I'm like, it's the perks you combine with Ana that make her insane. Ana herself and the actual ability, no, I think it's fine. It's just you combine her with some stuff that make her insane. And that's what we said before the game even came out, like the tech test days, that once you combine these abilities with some perks with the metagame, you might see some broken shit. And some of it's out there, and that's one of the examples of it, just how insane you can make Ana and those toughness builds in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I hit all the things. Again, the only character I really think needs to be nerfed is Sissy. By quite a bit, probably.
I mean, if we're putting stuff out there, I mean, you could give Hitchhiker some more traps if you want. Because that'd be fun.
That's another bomb squad. Another perk that is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Just to be able to take out Hitchhiker's traps whenever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Pretty insane. So that's, I don't know. Yeah. Some perks, I'm like, maybe we should have a little bit of adjustments. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, game hasn't been out a month yet.
Yeah.
They have plenty of time to make some quality of life changes and balancing. Yeah.
I think, let's say, if we're looking at a patch every like 2.5 weeks, let's say, I mean, it could be a while before we actually see the quality of life changes. So I'm a little nervous about that. And I'm actually I wasn't nervous because we know the guys at Gun, right? I mean, we've all been interacting with them for years now, and we know how well they do with their community. I'm a little nervous on player feedback now, just based on the lobby time changes they made that are so far away from what anybody requested that I'm like a little confused by that.
I was looking through I've been looking through the Reddits before the game even came out.
Yeah.
And since the game came out, I don't recall seeing anyone saying I want the lobby time longer.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously their reasoning was to help fill the lobbies, but man, that ain't it.
Yeah. And then, I saw somebody complaining about it. Very, very valid complaint. I was with them, and the response to them was, "You're in the minority." And I'm like, no, they're not. So that's why I'm a little confused in player feedback, because what feedback is going to be taken into account when it comes to the quality of life changes. So, because this is why it gets so scary once these changes happen, because it usually leads to either the killer being nerfed to oblivion, and then it's super victim sided, or it leads to the victims being nerfed to oblivion, and it's super family sided or killer sided. These ASIM games, a lot of the times, all end the same damn way, at the same conclusion, where it ends up being super one-sided. The game is pretty fucking balanced. It's more balanced than any ASIM game I've seen, and they should be proud of that. The 3v4 is crucial for that balance. You should not change it. We will wait. I'll wait for a 7th player. When the 7th player's there, I'm done waiting, all right? Fucking ready up, all right? But I'll wait for the lobby to fill up.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's just I don't want to see it. I just want to see him nerfed to oblivion. That's all. Like, Sissy is really the only one that I think needs to be adjusted, and I actually think it's a bug. I think her ability to poison you with a knife, I don't think it's supposed to stack. I think it's supposed to be one time, and then once they recover from the poison, you could do it again. But they're not recovering from the poison. You're just stacking and stacking and stacking the poison effect on top of them while slicing them, and they can't run away. No. So that I think it's just a bug. But yeah, it's disgusting and it needs to be fixed. But yeah, I'm worried because they're very key on make sure you report a ticket, make sure you give and I get it because the Gun's a small team, and so to organize feedback to give to Sumo Nottingham to change is limited to like 3 or 4 people doing it with tens of thousands of players. That's a hard thing to do. So they really want to be support a ticket, do it there so it's more organized for us to get through. Totally get that. But who's actually doing that?
Right. I hope that also by letting people know, hey, report a ticket, I also hope that they are noting this as well. They're not just copying and pasting, please report a ticket, and then if no one reports that issue, but you've seen it 20 times on the subreddit, no one gets that information because no one submitted a ticket, but you responded to people with it. I really hope that they are also being addressed when our community people are responding to concerns and feedback.
Yeah.
I hope that is also going hand in hand with the ticket.
Yeah.
Information.
I mentioned this because like I said, I'm a little nervous about it now because of that, of what happened with the timer. And I'm like, well, damn, you really didn't see all the feedback bitching about it. Now I saw Andy responding in the subreddit saying, taking note, like, yep, this is noteworthy. I'm taking note. I'm like, perfect. Thank you. I want to see that in the subreddit. I understand how much easier it makes it if you got they're using the ticket on the support site. Totally get it. But man, that subreddit is gonna be very key for making sure that feedback is heard.
Yeah,
so many people are too lazy to do it. It's true, and a lot of people will admit to it. Like, oh, please go report this on the site. No,
I mean,
all right.
I think I have. I mean, even before this patch, I had a couple cheaters that I had not gotten around to reporting yet. I have the clips on my Xbox and my app, and then a couple other bugs that I've encountered that I've recorded. I haven't got around to it.
Yeah, this reminds me. One last change that I think is going to ultimately be important, especially if you want to keep dealing with cheaters and hackers. You need to be able to report them at the end screen. Because if they disconnect before you do, you can no longer select them and report them. Make it where even if they disconnect, you can click on them and report them. Because that's when I'm going to report somebody. I'm going to wait till the end of the game. That's 9 times out of 10. That's when I'll report somebody. And if I can't do any more, then that report's just going to go blind.
Or maybe somehow implement a pop-up for recently played and have your last, 2 lobbies worth of people that you played with. Because if someone takes over my character and is holding the lobby hostage, I'm not going to wait till the end of the game to report them.
Right. Yeah. And actually that type of system is also really good for being able to play with somebody again. So yeah. Something like that, because I bet you a lot of reports are being missed because the guy already DC'd before you even get a chance to do it. Or they take your player over like that. So what do you do? Yeah. Especially with like the instant everyone escapes. We had a game that lasted 6 seconds because they just hacked and everyone escaped out the side road gate and they were all disconnected. Yeah, that's a perfect example. Because I didn't even realize they were a cheater until they were already gone in DC.
Until the game was over in 6 seconds and everyone escaped from blank. Everyone in the lobby. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it was only one person cheating that just decided to end the game for everyone. But yeah, we couldn't report them.
Yep, it's one of those things. But yeah, that's it. That was long. I know that was long. I'm gonna try to cut it down, but I still know it was long. That was just some feedback I need to get off my chest. I feel good. That was therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. Leave us some feedback. Quality life changes you want to see in the comments below. But yeah, of course, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.